Scents of the world, well, inspired by the world. Let's see if they transport me to the Isles of Sicily or the corner of a department store in a decaying mall. Good tidings, and for this day's little decant episode, we have two picks out of the Nomad set from Gallivant Perfumes, a small perfume maker from London. I suppose you could call this my first dive into niche smells. I don't know much about this because it was a gift and I didn't want to ruin too much of the back end other than some of the very surface level information as to where this came from and the small expectations, which we can see some of the scents on the back, and we'll talk about in a few minutes when we get to the specific ones we will test out today. Now, this collection is a scent for around the globe, that is, once again, a Nomad obnoxious nostrils, I suppose. Did add that last little part there, but nonetheless, we should be for in a world of many aromas and incense and scents of all the natures and strikes and things of that. We'll try out two today. We'll try out Bukhara and Naples. As for why, I don't know. They had some interesting scent profiles from what the back of this said, and I'll show you that in a moment, and we'll just kind of see what it smells like. You can see this is what we can expect for Bukhara. Woody, spicy, and earthy in a journey into Central Asia. I'll look into the actual note profiles after the recording and just add them in the little post, just so I don't spoil too much about what is to be expected beyond this little bit of description here. Okay, let's give this a little spray on our wrists. We'll do one for the left and one for the right. That is, one for the Bukhara and one for the Naples. Okie doke. So a little spray there. We're just going to let it sit for just a moment and see what happens. And we're back. Now, this is quite an interesting dynamic of smells here. I can't say I've come across too many scents that I could compare this scent to. The strangest thing was when I initially sprayed it, I almost smelled this grape sort of smell, which was very odd. I will say that the woody scent is quite prominent, but the spicy is as well. As for the detritus type of smells, that is the decaying ground or the earthy scents that I like to associate them with, it is there. This is a very strange smell. I don't know what it's supposed to be marketed towards for the time of year, but I would say definitely a colder weather scent. For me, a lot of these really earth/wood heavy scents seem to play better in some of those more mild days, and this doesn't seem to be much of an exception with that. As this slight wood with a sprinkle of some kind of molasses, but it's not overpowering, and the spice and wood is definitely the most prominent smells in this. I'm really curious as to what is listed. My guess is there's probably a base of, amber, tonka, cedar, the usual shenanigans with some sort of incense in between them. I'm not 100% on that, but it definitely seems to be layered as such. It smells like if your laundry detergent was mixed with the intention of being a woody, fresh spice linen scent to it, but it's pleasant and it's not something I've come across. I definitely would say this is an enjoyable fragrance, that you can get away wearing this actually many places. It doesn't seem offensive. I don't smell any of the wonderful oud. If there is oud in here, well, it's very mild and definitely enveloped by some of the other scents, which is quite nice. The layering seems to be very decent. I'm curious as to the longevity of this, but the initial spray, it's pleasant. It doesn't harass me in any sense, and I think I would buy a bottle of this. This is quite lovely. If this is some of the niche smells to expect from this, I look forward to some of the other areas. And unfortunately, I've never been to Central Asia, but if this is what it smells like, I suppose I should go and pick up a bottle over there myself. Next up, we have Naples. Now, back to our little box here for our Nomad set, and to see what they say this is about. Citrus, woody, incense, salty sea air, smoke, and a charming Neapolitan decadence. What that means, I guess we're going to find out together and take a spray and see how it transitions into or transforms around us. Let's give this a spray and see how it does. Okay, I'm just going to let it sit for just a moment and see how it develops. And we are back once again. And for this one, something to immediately notice is definitely the incense smell. The incense smell seems to be very prominent in this, and it is wrapped around that wood scent. Is this enjoyable? I think it is if you're into the smoky wood scents. The citrus definitely brings a bitter note to it. It smells so much like bergamot, If it's not, then I'm very curious as to what the note is that they actually decided to fuse with the rest of these. Now, the comparables of this one, the wooden incense is pretty prominent in this, but it's not choking. The citrus, and it seems to be a bitter citrus scent, is something that is definitely lingering even after a wee bit. I can't quite put my finger on that salty sea air smell. There's something in between these notes that I'm not quite familiar with. This almost reminds me if I was walking amongst an arboretum or something of that nature, and some wafting airs came through to help announce their presence around me while I strolled down the greenery. I suppose this time of year would be more of the beige and brown, but nonetheless, it definitely smells like the outdoors. There's no sweetness to this, I'm pretty sure I just mentioned that. Would I recommend this? I say yes, it has its pleasantries about it as to where I would wear it and when I would wear it. It almost seems like it would be like a nice spring scent that is just on like a colder spring day. I don't think you can go wrong wearing this pretty much anywhere. It's light enough that you definitely will smell very outdoorsy, but not like musky or anything like that. It definitely plays its notes away from that usual oak moss and musk smells. Now, if they are in there, they're hiding, and they're doing a quite wonderful job at hiding. And as we come to our end here, we've tested both the world of Naples and also something from the Uzbekistan region. They don't seem like challenging smells for me to wear. I don't see anything as offensive, and both of their scent profiles are quite different, but also play upon some woody notes, but decide to diverge in different paths, of one being more citrus and one being more spicy with almost a smallest hint of molasses. Quite enjoyable. So far, this Nomad set is quite the interesting experience, and I look forward to diving into more with you in the future. Anyhow, anywho, and anyway, I think that'll do it for us today. I appreciate you stopping on by as always, and feel free to follow and like if you want. I never mind, and I always do appreciate it. You have yourself a good day. Bye-bye now.